Hi, welcome back to Mechanic Garage. Bit more work on the Volvo. Seen me strip it down last video, and most of my parts have arrived. Not all of them. There's a certain delivery company in blue vans that tend not to deliver things. And yeah, we've got bits that have gone missing. Right, in the last video, you saw me get all this off and literally just reopen the bonnet. And you've got your throttle housing, air flap, which controls your fueling, and we'd pulled out this, where's it gone? The coil plug from that hole there. I'm going to clean that out and then get the new one and have a go at getting it fitted. Bit of sealant around it and then knock it in. Then I've been reading up and watching videos on how all this lot works, and there's a filter in this unit here inside there that probably has never been changed, and it's easy enough to get at whilst this is all off. There's a load more filters and other things I can do with that, but what I'm going to do to start with is fit this, and then if it all makes it better and it fixes it, we're good. Because if I start taking this to pieces, it's another can of worms. It runs fine. It started fine. It's just got a little bit lazy when you first start it to actually want to rev. But there's a lot more to it since I've been looking into it. Okay, Jetronic. But we'll find out what happens when I get into it, and hopefully later in this video the part will actually arrive. You can hardly see anything just because of where it is. There's the hole in amongst all this pipe work. I'm going to use this to start with, just to clean it out. So I don't know if you can see out. There you go. Get rid of this cloth now, out of the way a little bit. It's not the easiest thing to film, to be honest. Hang on. Oh, there's a bit of a view of it, better view of it. However, as soon as I get my hands in here, you're not going to see it. The plan is to knock it in, get it in there nice and evenly. Bit of sealant around it. I mean, officially they don't really need it, but I'm not risking having no sealant on it when I've got some. Just put a little bit around the outside edge that you can't see because it's off the camera. And what I've done in the past is like that, stick it on a socket, because then you can get it in square. You can see it in the hole now. Just check. Yeah. Get a socket and just tap it in square. And then when it's level, if I can get this on, if I can get that in the right orientation, which I can't, so I'll go get an extension. Let's get to the end of it now. And it is just a case of knocking it in so it's flush. Just slightly below the surface there, like that. And now, that's that job done. Right, as I mentioned earlier, that there is your warm-up regulator. It's basically what controls the fueling, and I believe on the startup, I've not got a great memory. I was watching videos on how it all works as to what to do. The filter inside there that will never have been changed, little four or five layers of mesh, that if that is blocked, the back pressure or the fuel pressure ends up too much in there, and that causes all sorts of issues. So I'm going to take this out, take the filter out, and then we can see how bad it is. But the new one I've got is a different type that fits down inside in the banjo bolt itself. I did used to have a little tripod that you could hook onto things, but it broke, so I'm going to balance you there and hope that this works. God, that's tight. And being typical banjo bolts, there'll be a little copper washer top and bottom of each of these, which if I've got any of the right size I shall replace. Let's get the other one off as well. There is a modification to do to these as well, but I'm not sure I want to start changing things too much, because it does run well. And that old thing of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But right, by the looks of it, it's just them two Allen keys in the centre that hold it to that mounting. Let's lift this out without dropping that washer into the cylinder. This is your warm-up regulator. I'm no expert. I've literally only learned the couple of things I know recently by watching Grey Goose restoration videos. He mainly Volkswagen Mark II Golf, but they've all got the same system on, or variations of it. And there's one thing in there, I don't know if you can see it. There's layers upon layers of filters that are clamped down by the banjo bolt. Now they will never have been changed. So what I need to do is dig them out. And I think that's what it said, there's 5 layers of it. And the reason you dig them out, sorry, when you dig them out, they end up a bit knackered. So you replace them. But it shows if they're actually going to come out. To give you an idea, that's one. That's how big they are. I think it said there's 5 layers. There you go. And separate that out into its layers if I can. I haven't got my glasses on, and this is incredibly small. And basically various layers of it. Because I'm going to replace it anyway, it doesn't matter that it's getting pulled to pieces. There's another layer of it. And I can't separate these, they're just too small. Basically you've got varying layers of little tiny filters that fit inside your fuel into this, and they will have never been cleaned out, because why would anybody do that? There's another 4 or so in the 4 or 5 in the fuel distribution head as well, or metering head. None of these look particularly dirty. I'll try and zoom in. That's how big they are. It gives you an indication of, see the size of the little pluck I was pulling out with. I mean, you've got that muck there. It may disturb a load of it when I took them out, but I mean, that is probably 5mm across. So it's definitely worth changing. Yeah, there's grot in them, wherever that's gone. Grot in the middle of that. Definitely worth changing. If you drop it, you never see it again. I'm trying to avoid my shadow, but that's it back in now. Just waiting for that filter. It goes into the little banjo bolt. And then hopefully that'll improve things. If it doesn't, then I've got a main fuel filter to go underneath. I need to get it running first so I can get on the ramps. And then I've got handbrake cable and everything else. So we'll be getting on with that in a bit. Hopefully this filter will turn up soon. As if by magic, by the power of the next day, the filter turned up. It gives you an idea of the size of it. And that's it there. And this basically takes the place inside there of the one I pulled out earlier. Like a slight interference fit. So carefully find something heavy enough but not too heavy. Maybe use a hammer, it would have been better, but right, got a little filter inside there now. Let's put this back on. A little copper washer underneath. You can't really see an awful lot, but you get the gist. Without trapping my glove in there, get out. And this is auto control the warm-up process and the cold start injectors and things like that, I believe. As I say, I'm no expert. I've just gone on what I saw and read. Get the plug back on. I did check the resistance in there as well. There's a resistor on a bimetallic strip, and it was right. And that's all I can tell you, because that was last night and I can't remember what it was now. Right, it's just a case now of getting the inlet manifold and everything back on. I'll leave that cover over the cloth over that for now. The flame trap, which I've washed out because they can be a bit grotty. It's just a case of remembering where all the pipe work went, because I've been asleep since I took it off. I know all that lot went up the centre. New gasket, cleaned up the face where everything goes. Just tuck everything up there. I need to wriggle that around the injector pipes again. Get on. There, through them. Wire in there, that pipe. And that's in line with that for wiring. and get this screwed on. Screwed on, clamped on. And the bugger can't come off again, can it? It's fun getting that in there. Ah, there's the nut. Oh, will that go over now? Yeah, that's in a better position. Yeah, that's happier. That sits for better now. Take two. Let's put these two bolts back in here loosely before we tighten it all down. There we go, that'll do. Right, that went onto there, that went to there. Cold start injector to there. That goes into there. That goes onto there. That goes onto there. And that goes into there. It should start and it shouldn't leak water, because at the end of the day that's what all this was for. If it runs and it revs straight away, we've got better fuel pressure. I suspect that the fuel pump is noisy underneath because it ran on its own for a while. It ran on its own without the pump in the tank working for a while, but also because it's struggling with the filter. Now that's what I'm hoping, that changing the fuel filter underneath, because it's had all the crap disturbed and it's now hoovered it all up. Because when I first started it, it started and revved straight away. Now it'll start but won't rev until it's been running for a bit. But having read up on it and watched videos, could be this system that's not working. Because when it's cold, you blip the throttle, this switch here, I believe, tells it to fire a bit of fuel in to richen it up. I'm going to try and start it. There you go, it's just kicked in. Right. Just trying. Just have a quick look for leaks. Can't smell any fuel. Considering the whole system will be empty around the top half, it's not unexpected. I don't know if you better hear that. See if we can get up on the ramps. See if we can get to that fuel filter. This is going to be a horrible job, I think. I came down with a few spanners to get the sizes, and I tried a couple of things. You got the end union here, which is a fuel inlet. That's come undone. In fact, there's your new fuel filter. That fits up in there, and from what I can see, there's the remains of a Volvo sticker on this, so it's original. Now I did move a couple of things, including all the bits. There's 3 bolts that hold this cradle to the floor, and amazingly, little M8 bolts moved. I haven't taken them out, but I just see if they'd actually got a head left on them, and then they came out dead easy. He dropped the entire cradle down to get the filter out, but as far as I can tell, because there's not a lot of space above it. Okay, you can't see anything now. Right, I'm trying to show you what's what because it's awkward. I managed to get that dropped off. That's looking at it from what would be above. That rusty pipeline into the rusty filter just cracked and came undone. That 10mm bolt, a 10mm bolt, 10mm headed M6 bolt came undone. That rusty banjo came undone. Unbelievable. It ain't out yet because this went tight. So I'm going to try and, I don't know where to put you. I ain't got a small tripod. I might try and put you there. Ow. Right, I'll put you there for now. And hopefully it doesn't move or fall off and you can actually see without my arms being in the way. That is unbelievable. Need to twist the filter really. Excuse me. I'll crack the other end off if I can find a spanner. Is it 18 or is it on 19? I think it's within 19 and 26. Well, this is the next day now because I didn't realise that halfway through that video of doing underneath, the camera, my phone decided it was full and stopped recording. So I was there chatting to myself for another half an hour, getting a new filter in there and all the rest of it. So yeah, you missed that. I've just had to go and delete a load of stuff. Got the filter back in, bit of a pain getting it to seal, but I have done. I'll have a look underneath now and show you what's what. Got it started, it runs a lot better, but there's another issue. As with every time I touch this car, there's another issue. Right, there's your filter and fuel pump. It's a little bit quieter now. Fuel pressure's gone a lot higher because when I undid this union originally, it leaked out. There's a bit of pressure behind it, but I did have a problem with it leaking from the inner copper washer, so I had to, even with the new ones on it, didn't want to play, still leaking under massive high pressure in there now, and there was a bit of misting from it, but I managed to get it to stop. But when I came, obviously had it running, it builds pressure up, and then when I took it apart, it was ridiculous amount of pressure in there, so there was far more getting through the filter, so the other one must have been grotty. Now, as I said, there's another problem. As I've got it running properly now, it's happy, it ain't leaking water out, but it won't idle properly. It's well, it will and it won't. And the injectors, as I should have known, I should have done this with it off, how loose they are. There's a rubber seal in there that holds those. There's a seal around this body into the head, and there's a seal around the O-ring to that. 11 quid for a set for all of them. It's now a little bit awkward to get them out because they're all down there, but I should have done that when this was off, but because it was running fine before, I've now increased the fuel pressure, increased the fuel flow, got everything that little bit better. It's now sneaking its head up a little bit more. It does run, but it wasn't idling properly, and I sprayed a bit of brake cleaner around these, just literally into each one, and as soon as I did that, the engine revs dropped right down because there's not enough air to burn it. It was killing it off. So all 4 of them are leaking and drawing air in. But it's not unexpected due to the fact that it's been sat for so long, and it's an old car. They're probably the original ones, same as everything on it. I mean, I'm trying to help it, I'm trying to save it, and we had a stern words last night. We had a bit of a chat with it as to what it's doing, because I'm trying to help it. I'll just start her up now. So initially, when you did this, it'd just go flat. But with these being loose, now I've disturbed them, you can alter how it runs. So it's running a little bit faster because it's sucking air in, but it's smooth now. Coolant bottle full of nice clean water. No water leak down there. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly. That's the old fuel filter, and I thought I'll see how bad it is. So I'm going to have a look inside. Yeah. Yeah. If it'll come apart. Yeah, it's tight. Yeah. Oh. Not actually as bad as I expected. There's a lot of muck in there, but not actually as bad as I thought. Yeah, that's alright. Needed doing anyway. Obviously being an old Volvo one, that's been on there for quite a while. Probably the last service, which was I think in 1997, dealer service anyway, or whatever it was. I can't remember what date it was. I'm just making it up. A while ago anyway. Alright, all I've got now is them injector seals to do, and then that's the engine side of things done. So until they turn up, I'm gonna have a go at the brakes, sort the rest of the brakes out and do this handbrake cable. That'll be in another video because this one's already way too long, and hopefully it's then just the interior out, bit of welding, do the roof lining, and then we can get somewhere near an MOT, because that reg number I need to get off, put it on retention so I can sell it, and then get it back on its original F plate. But because it's been off the road for more than 5 years, sawn for more than 5 years, you can't take it off anyway. It's got to be MOT'd and taxed, because there are set rules and things, but it falls outside any of those, so I can't take it off until it's MOT'd and taxed on the road. So I'll probably have to get a set of plates for it because those won't pass an MOT officially. It's probably last MOT was 20 plus years ago, which would have been before the new font, and even then they weren't quite right. So I'll get as cheapest pair of plates I can find just to put on it for MOT, and then get some proper ones made for the F-Reg when it gets that sorted. So yeah, we're getting there. Every time I look at it, it's fighting me every step of the way. There's always something to spend, and I don't think it realises I'm trying to save it, and I'm not just being horrible to it, because it keeps being horrible to me. So yeah, one day, hopefully in the not too distant future, it'll be MOT'd and back on the road. So stick with us, like, comment and subscribe, and keep following it on this journey of resurrection. Cheers.